Illustrator's starting to lag a little bit, may I suggest you work on two different Illustrator files if you want to work with two different backgrounds. So live and learn, right? Okay, so how was this double stroke achieved? And it certainly wasn't, if I click right here, it was not achieved through changing this stroke color. You can only do this via the appearance panel, and it's Window, Appearance, right there. Okay, so my appearance panel pops up. I'm going to move this because I want to be able to not hide what's going on when I show you this. And I want you to notice that the characters and type are two different things. And that when we do this again, the stroke and fill are going to be applied to the characters. Now I've changed this so that the appearance of the type is changed. This is the only way strokes work in Illustrator with typography. Very strange, but roll with it. And I'll explain that next, but I don't want to destroy this in case I screw up making this video. So I'm going to take this alt type layer and drag it down and make a copy. Then I'm going to hide my original and then click on the fill and throw it away and throw away the stroke and throw away this stroke. We didn't want that. Throw that one away too. And then I'll go ahead and set my fill color, and I've already copied this hexadecimal code. If I hit Tab, click OK. Now that's back to where we started. And there we go. So now we hit the black arrow, we'll deselect. And so now, with no selection, we can see our fill and stroke. If I click on Type, and then double click to get my type tool, and then click and drag, double click and drag. Now I have Fall Concert highlighted. Illustrator used to, if I could hit Command H, used to hide that selection, Command H. I don't know why it's not hiding it now, but there you go. So the fill, we're going to delete it. And we already deleted our stroke. Then click on Type, and then come up with having type selected and say Add New Fill. Now you have to have copied this hex code because we're going to come over here and paste it in, hit Return, and now we've got our color back and we have our stroke right here. Now this is another thing that's not working exactly the same. If I just add a stroke to this, it's going to behave the same way as it would if I added a stroke right here, and it's going to cover up the fill. You have to click and drag this layer and drag it down below the fill, but it's kind of tricky and it's not behaving. Usually you get the hand right here. Maybe it'll, see how I got the hand? To drag this, there it is, below the opacity. So it was my fault, but I wasn't seeing that hand all the way down. So just drag it, click and drag it below the opacity, and you can swap these things out, even though you're not getting the hand. Very strange. So now with the stroke, I can double click the stroke over here, because if we click on this, double click on it, all we get are these colors. Now we want the entire spectrum, so we can click over here on the stroke, paste our hex code, hit Tab, and then we want a dark and light background. So I'm going to pick a dark green down here, click OK, and then bump that stroke up. I don't know, I think I had it on 8 or so. See how laggy this thing is? Okay, and then duplicate that stroke layer by clicking on that, and then changing one or the other, because we're going to make another stroke. We'll take this top one and double click, and select a light version of this. Because we need a light stroke to show up on the dark background, but we need a dark stroke to show up on the light background. So it's kind of complicated. So now let's decrease the size of this upper stroke and see how we're starting to reveal both strokes at once because they're stacked on top each other. This is kind of confusing, but it's really powerful. And you can stack multiple strokes and get different effects. So I'm just going to drag the appearance panel back over here and dock it back in where it was. And this provides an opportunity to get the contrast we need and the effect Mr. Infantino wanted. And we could possibly do a little bit with the upper. I make Command 0 so we can see our whole poster. And that's how you add a stroke. Now, I am not suggesting these colors are perfect. And I don't know if I did this off screen or on, but I lightened this text so it could be read because the green wasn't reading it all down here. Work on this, have some fun, but remember, Friday. I can't wait to see what you create.